What if the foods that kept people healthy for over 1,000 years were never really lost? They were just forgotten. Ali Ibn Sina, one of the greatest doctors in Muslim history, picked up a simple fruit over 1,000 years ago, and he prescribed it for the aging mind, for memory, for the brain that was starting to slow down. The biggest food study ever done in the Mediterranean, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, finally caught up to him. Over 7,400 adults, a 95% confidence interval. The fruit Ali Ibn Sina was holding is number 1 on this list, and the moment you see it, you will recognize it. There is another food on this list, the exact food the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to describe a believer who recites the Quran. Recorded in the most authentic hadith collection on earth, there is a green leaf that the companions ate every Friday after Jumu'ah prayer, and modern bone research has only recently been able to explain why. By the end of this video, you will know 15 foods, rooted in Sunnah and classical Islamic medicine, that early Muslim doctors prescribed for the heart, the brain, and the aging body, and that modern science has now confirmed. Stay until the end. Number 1 will leave you speechless. Number 15. Endive. In Arabic, Hindiba. Before we begin, I want to be honest with you. You may have heard a hadith that says, every leaf of Hindiba carries a drop of water from paradise. That narration has been graded as fabricated by Sheikh Albani and leading hadith scholars, so we are not using it. What we do have is Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah. In his Tibb Nabawi, he recommends Hindiba for the liver, for digestion, and for cooling the body's constitution. Modern gut research has now aligned with him. Endive and chicory are rich in inulin, a prebiotic fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. A 2021 study in Nature Metabolism found that a more diverse gut microbiome reliably predicts healthy aging. The fabricated hadith did not survive scholarship. The plant survived the laboratory. Number 14. Quince. In Arabic, safarjal. Same honesty applies here. A narration attributed to Talha, may Allah be pleased with him, says quince strengthens the heart and refreshes the chest. It appears in Sunan Ibn Majah, but it has been graded weak. We set it aside. What we stand on is Ali Ibn Sina's canon of medicine. He gives quince its own entry for the heart, the stomach, and the chest. Quince contains one of the highest natural pectin levels of any common fruit. That is why Mediterranean grandmothers have made preserves from quince for centuries, with no commercial gelling agent needed. Pectin supports the gut lining, and a strong gut lining helps regulate inflammation, one of the most well-documented drivers of accelerated aging. Ali Ibn Sina found the medicine. The modern laboratory found the mechanism. Number 13. Carob. In Arabic, harub. Carob has no direct authenticated hadith. What it has is Ibn al-Baytar, the great Andalusian physician of the 13th century, who gives carob a detailed entry for digestive support and gentle nourishment. Muslim Mediterranean communities were eating it as an everyday food long before the Crusades. Today's wellness market sells it at premium prices as a natural alternative to chocolate. Modern research has found 2 anti-aging mechanisms. First, carob contains D-pinitol, a natural compound with documented insulin-sensitizing effects. Stabilizing blood sugar is one of the most validated longevity strategies in modern science. Second, a 2003 trial in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found carob-soluble fiber reduced LDL cholesterol in adults over just 6 weeks. The molasses your great-grandmother made from carob pods was working medicine, not folklore. Hibiscus. In Arabic, carcade. Picture a tall glass of deep red liquid, brewed warm in winter, served cold in summer, found in homes from Cairo to Khartoum for hundreds of years. That is carcade, the beloved drink of Egypt and Sudan. There is no direct Sahih hadith on it, But Ibn al-Bayta gave Carcaday its place in classical Islamic pharmacology. A 2022 systematic review in Nutrition Reviews, published by Oxford, examined multiple randomized controlled trials on hibiscus and blood pressure. The result was a statistically significant reduction in both systolic and diastolic readings. The mechanism involves anthocyanins in hibiscus that block angiotensin-converting enzyme, the exact same pathway that prescription blood pressure medications target. The daily drink of Egyptian grandmothers, validated by modern clinical pharmacology. Number 11. Beetroot. In Arabic, shamanda. Mediterranean Muslim cuisines, Maghrebi, Andalusian, Levantine, have eaten red beets for centuries, and cardiovascular research has produced some of its most replicated findings on this single vegetable. Beetroot is the richest dietary source of inorganic nitrate. Your body converts that nitrate into nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and keeps them flexible. As we age, our arteries produce less of it and begin to stiffen. A 2008 study in the journal Hypertension showed beetroot juice lowered systolic blood pressure by around 10 millimeters of mercury in healthy adults within hours. A 2013 study documented improved blood flow to the brain in elderly subjects. The red beet your grandmother roasted was doing molecular-level work that science had not yet found the words to describe. Number 10. Mulberry. In Arabic, tut. Across the Levant, Anatolia, and Persia, the mulberry tree has stood beside Muslim village homes for over 1,000 years. Ali Ibn Sina wrote about tut in the Canon of Medicine for cooling, digestion, and throat health. The dark fruit carries one of the highest anthocyanin concentrations of any common berry. The white mulberry leaf contains a compound called 1-deoxynogeremycin, which slows glucose absorption after meals and reduces blood sugar spikes. Blunting post-meal glucose is one of the most validated longevity strategies in modern research. A 2010 study in phytotherapy research confirmed this effect. The dried mulberries your grandmother kept in a small jar on the shelf are the same food that modern metabolic research is actively studying today. Number 9. Apple. In Arabic, tufa. There is no authenticated hadith directly on the apple. What exists is Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah's careful treatment of it in Tibb Nabawi, distinguishing the sweet from the sour, the cooling from the warming, and the seasonal use from the daily use. Ibn al-Qayyim would not invent a hadith. He would also not dismiss a genuinely beneficial food. Apples are among the richest sources of quercetin, the most widely studied dietary flavonoid for cardiovascular and brain aging. A 2011 review in Advances in Nutrition found that apple consumption was associated with reduced cardiovascular disease and lower all-cause mortality across several long-term cohort studies. The old saying about an apple a day turns out to have more scientific evidence behind it than almost any other traditional health saying. Number 8. Swiss chard. In Arabic, silk. This one is special. Listen closely. There is an authenticated narration from Sahl ibn Sa'd, may Allah be pleased with him, recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari, in the chapter on Friday prayer. He said that a woman among the companions would take the roots of silk and cook them with grains of barley every Friday after Jumu'ah prayer, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, would eat from that dish. Silk is Mediterranean chard, botanically the same species as beetroot, but grown for its leaves, and bone aging research has now identified what was on the companions' plates. Chard leaves contain betalains, the same antioxidants found in beetroot. They contain lutein and zeaxanthin, the carotenoids that protect the aging eye. They contain vitamin K1, linked to bone density preservation in older adults. The leaf the companions ate after Friday prayer 1400 years ago contains the precise compounds that geriatric medicine has only recently been able to name. Number 7. Citron. In Arabic, outrouge. recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith 5427, narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari: the believer who recites the Quran is like the utruj. Its fragrance is pleasant, its taste is pleasant. Of all the fruits in creation, he chose the utruj, the citron, the ancestor of every citrus fruit known to the modern world. Citron carries exceptionally high concentrations of vitamin C, alongside a flavonoid called hesperidin, which supports the small blood vessels that deteriorate earliest with age. Vitamin C is the essential building block for collagen. Without it, skin loses elasticity, joints degrade, and arterial walls weaken. The Prophet, peace be upon him, named the fruit. The laboratory named the compound that explains it. Number 6. Pine nuts. In Arabic, snowbar. Hold a single pine nut between two fingers. Pale, ivory, smaller than a thumbnail. Ibn al-Baytar's Andalusian Pharmacopoeia gives snowbar its dedicated entry. Muslim cuisines across the Levant, Anatolia, and Persia have built their pastries, kibba, and stuffed grape leaves around pine nuts for over 1,000 years. Pine nuts contain vitamin E at concentrations among the highest of any tree nut, and vitamin E deficiency accelerates both skin and neurological aging. They contain vitamin K1 for bone density. They contain manganese, the cofactor for superoxide dismutase, the body's primary internal antioxidant enzyme. Today's wellness market sells pine nuts at extraordinary prices. The Muslim Mediterranean has eaten them as a daily staple since before a wellness industry existed. Number 5. Sesame seeds. In Arabic, simsim. We are talking about the whole sesame seed, not sesame oil, which is a separate item in classical Islamic pharmacology. Ali Ibn Sina prescribes simsim in the canon of medicine for skin health, hair quality, and lipid balance. A 2006 clinical trial in the Journal of Nutrition confirmed that the lignans in whole sesame seeds, sesamin and sesamelin, reduce LDL cholesterol and enhance vitamin E absorption in human subjects. The sesame seeds on your breakfast bread, in the tahini, in the hummus, in the halva at the end of a meal. These are not garnish. They are functional medicine the Muslim Mediterranean has eaten every day for 1,500 years. Number 4. Pistachios. In Arabic, fustuk al-halabi. Fustuk al-halabi, the Aleppo pistachio, named after the Syrian city that became the global center of pistachio cultivation during the early Islamic period. It appears in Ali Ibn Sina's canon, in Ibn al-Baytar's compendium, and throughout the Andalusian medical tradition. Pistachios contain among the highest concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin of any tree nut, the specific carotenoids that the lens and macular tissue of the human eye selectively accumulate. Macular degeneration is the #1 cause of vision loss in older adults worldwide. A 2015 trial in the British Journal of Nutrition also confirmed pistachio consumption supports cardiometabolic health markers. The nut, an ancient Muslim city built its identity around, has been working medicine for the aging eye and heart for 1,000 years. Number 3. Yogurt. In Arabic, laban raib. Yogurt is a separate food in classical Islamic medicine. Ibn al-Qayyim specifically differentiates between fresh milk and laban raib, the fermented form. He describes it as cooling, easier to digest for the elderly, and beneficial for weakened constitutions. The live probiotic bacteria in yogurt support gut microbiome diversity, which the 2021 Nature Metabolism study showed predicts healthy aging across thousands of adults. Bacterial fermentation in yogurt also produces vitamin K2, linked in the Rotterdam study published in Atherosclerosis in 2009, to reduced arterial calcification. And arterial calcification is one of the foundational mechanisms of cardiovascular aging. The fermented milk Bedouin Arabs carried across the desert was performing biological functions that modern science is still fully mapping. Number 2. Almonds. In Arabic, laws, there is no direct authenticated hadith on almonds. What exists is Bu Ali Ibn Sina's extensive treatment of laws in the canon of medicine, distinguishing sweet from bitter and detailing applications for the chest, the brain, and digestion. The Pre-Dimed trial, conducted in Spain, enrolled 7,447 adults at high cardiovascular risk. They were placed into 3 groups: a Mediterranean diet with tree nuts, a Mediterranean diet with extra virgin olive oil, or a control low-fat diet. A note of transparency: the original paper was retracted in 2018 due to a procedural error. The same journal republished a corrected version that same year, and the findings held. The Mediterranean diet, with tree nuts including almonds, reduced major cardiovascular events by approximately 28%. The almond your grandmother placed beside your morning tea was doing work the New England Journal of Medicine has now published on twice. Number 1. Walnuts. In Arabic, jaws. Bu Ali Ibn Sina. In the canon of medicine, over 1,000 years ago, he singled out one fruit for the aging mind, for memory decline, for the brain beginning to dim with age. He gave it a dedicated entry and recommended it specifically for elderly cognition. That fruit was the walnut. Crack one open. The 2 lobes of the kernel, wrinkled, joined at the center, mirror the 2 hemispheres of the human brain, a resemblance no physician in the classical Islamic tradition, after Bu Ali Ibn Sina, ever failed to notice. The walnut is the richest tree nut source of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, foundational to the brain's structural lipids and anti-inflammatory pathways. The polyphenols in its thin, papery skin are among the highest found in any common food, and walnuts are one of the very few dietary sources of meaningful melatonin, which declines sharply with age and is tied to sleep, immunity, and cellular repair. The corrected Pre-Dimed analysis in the New England Journal of Medicine, a Mediterranean diet anchored on 15 grams of walnuts per day across over 7,000 adults at high cardiovascular risk, reduced major cardiovascular events by approximately 28%. A 2020 sub-analysis from the Waha trial in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that walnut consumers preserved their cognitive function better over the follow-up period. Bu Ali Ibn Sina prescribed it for the aging brain 1,000 years ago. The New England Journal of Medicine and the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition said the same thing in this decade. The medicine is the food. The wisdom is from Allah. The walnut, the brain in your hand. Number 1 on this list, jaws. For over 1,400 years, these foods have traveled through an unbroken chain, from the Prophet, peace be upon him, to his companions, from Bu Ali Ibn Sina to Ibn al-Qayyim to Ibn al-Baytar, and from their writings to your grandmother's kitchen. Modern science is now arriving at the same place these physicians reached 1,000 years ago. The remedies Allah has placed in His creation are not magic, and they do not replace qualified medical care. They are the means He has given, through the Sunnah and through the natural world, and they are among His blessings. May Allah grant you and your families complete shifa. Assalamu alaikum.